guys, today we're reacting to near-death experiences footballers have had.
Initially, you find yourself cruising at a breakneck speed of 150 miles per hour in a Ferrari. However, the narrative takes an unexpected turn when we learn about soccer players who narrowly escaped death. Among them is Cristiano Ronaldo, whose life took a drastic turn after a tragic incident only 3 days after purchasing his dream car. The incident occurred on January 8, 2009, which was an atypical morning for Ronaldo. Welcome to Football Legacy. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. Ronaldo's coach had called for an early practice session following Manchester's heartbreaking defeat. As a result, Ronaldo's teammates were counting on him to be present. However, he was nowhere to be found. Ronaldo had overslept and only realized when he saw several notifications on his phone. Being a committed player, he knew that not showing up for practice was unacceptable. Despite having just 20 minutes to cross the city, he was determined not to let his teammates down. He had one car in his garage that would get the job done, but unfortunately, little did he know that getting behind the wheel of that car would turn out to be the biggest mistake of his life. Ronaldo had only just begun to establish himself in the soccer world when he wrecked a Ferrari, which was left completely totaled. The fact that he emerged from the accident without any physical injuries was nothing short of a miracle. However, the experience changed Ronaldo's perspective, and he dedicated his life to becoming the greatest soccer player of all time. Ironically, Lionel Messi's pursuit of the same goal almost cost him his life. In 2017, Lionel Messi was getting ready to participate in one of the most significant games of his career. Barcelona was set to face off against Juventus in a highly anticipated Champions League matchup, and after losing the first leg 3-0, Messi knew he had to perform exceptionally well in order to avoid an elimination. As soon as Messi stepped onto the field, he was prepared for anything. However, during the first half, both teams fiercely battled it out, knowing that their legacies were on the line. The winner would advance to the semi-finals, so there was a lot at stake. Despite their efforts, neither team was able to score a single point. As the first half was coming to a close, Messi attempted to make one last play with a high degree of effort. Unfortunately, this move almost cost him everything. Messi's narrow escape on the field was a stark reminder that disasters can strike unexpectedly. Doctors confirmed that if Messi had landed just 2 millimeters higher, his neck injury would have been fatal. Despite losing the game, Messi was fortunate to have survived the incident. However, as Matías Silva's experience shows, some disasters occur off the field. In 2017, Silva and his teammates were excited about the upcoming 4th of July celebrations. They decided to drive to Lake Tahoe and enjoy the beach before their game later that day. Anticipating the beach to be crowded, they planned to arrive at 6 a.m. However, things took a turn for the worse and chaos ensued. The next morning, Silva and his friends piled into the car, blasting some music as they set off on their road trip. They were pumped for their adventure and the excitement of the upcoming 4th of July celebrations. When they arrived at the beach, Silva was overcome with a sense of joy and freedom. Seeing the sand and water, he couldn't resist the urge to dive in and swim. As he swam out to the boys, the sun shining down on him, Silva looked graceful and serene like a champion swimmer. His friends watched in awe, admiring his swimming prowess, but suddenly, something went wrong. What happened was that suddenly, Silva began screaming for help, and his friends thought he was joking until he went under the water. Frantically, they swam towards him, but by the time they reached him, it was too late. Silva wasn't breathing, and his pulse was non-existent. In a panic, they swam back to shore and quickly sought help. Luckily, a lifeguard who was on duty attempted to revive Silva with CPR, but it wasn't working. The situation was dire, and they had no other choice but to call for emergency medical assistance. 2 days later, Silva finally regained consciousness, but he was disoriented and confused. It turned out that he had been in a coma. Silva's excitement for the lake blinded him from noticing how cold the water was, which led to his body going into shock, ultimately causing his heart to stop. His friends were his saviors that day, as they were quick to perform CPR and prevent the situation from getting any worse. It's a miracle that Silva survived, and his teammate Wondolowski honored him in their next game by wearing his jersey number 38. To pay tribute to Silva, Wondolowski even scored a goal that night. For Neymar, the memory of his near-death experience has remained with him ever since he was just 4 months old. In 1992, he was on a road trip with his mother and father to visit some relatives when tragedy struck. They were driving up a mountain in Brazil when a massive storm hit, causing poor visibility and dangerous driving conditions. Suddenly, the car was hit by another vehicle, and everyone inside was at risk of losing their lives. Miraculously, they all survived, but the accident left Neymar with permanent scars, both physical and emotional. During the accident, Neymar's dad suffered a severe injury and was in a desperate state, fearing for his own life. However, his worst fear was the whereabouts of Neymar, who was only 4 months old at the time. The collision was so intense that Neymar was thrown out of sight and his family couldn't find him. They searched frantically inside and out of the car, but to no avail. Then, they heard crying, in which they found that Neymar was trapped, and his father eventually found him underneath the driver's seat. Neymar's family was devastated after the car accident, and they were all injured, including 4-month-old Neymar. His head was cut by a piece of glass, and he was bleeding profusely. The family knew they had to act quickly, so they rushed him to the hospital. Neymar was so young at the time that he couldn't comprehend the situation, and he was oblivious to the fact that he had just faced death. Fortunately, however, Neymar survived the accident, and his dad was incredibly grateful. He thanked God for sparing his son's life. The experience was undoubtedly traumatic for Neymar, and it left a permanent mark on him, both physically and emotionally. Angel Di Maria has been living with the fear of being targeted by criminals, and things reached a new level of danger when his family was attacked at their home in early 2021. At the time, Angel was playing for PSG, and the team was performing well, but they were determined to continue proving their doubters wrong. During a highly anticipated match, PSG took an early lead, and everything seemed to be going according to plan. However, things quickly took a dark turn that no one could have foreseen. During the 62nd minute of a highly anticipated match in 2021, Angel Di Maria was escorted out of the arena due to an emergency. His family was in danger as criminals had targeted his house, knowing he would be away at the game. While his wife and 2 daughters were home alone, the intruders broke in, held them hostage, and looted the entire $600,000 jewelry collection. This wasn't the first time that his house had been broken into, and as a result, Angel hired security to protect his family and possessions. It's a constant threat that he lives with every day. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet.
And guys, thank you for watching. As you just heard, don't forget
Initially,
to like and
you
subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.